Hey, what's up guys? Ravenclaw here, back on the Resto. Now, firstly, I just wanted to update you guys on how I've been going with my Resto. And I haven't been doing too much on her. I did do some more practice arenas and we pushed our app to about 1650, which is a lot higher than I thought I would be on my as a healer. But I'm slowly getting the hang of it. I've done a few RBGs and stuff just to get, you know, the different play style of a Resto druid. Now, what about the gear? Like, I'm pretty much fully geared now. I just need the helmet to change out, and I think I want to change the pants or the boots. There was something I wanted to change. I can't remember. But yeah, so I'm doing alright as for gear. Now, I've been asked a lot to go over what I do for my keybinds and why do I do that, and excuse me. I've also been asked to sort of go over what I've learnt for the Resto, which I'm more than happy to do. Now, you've got to understand, guys, I'm in no way the best Resto out there at all, but I can sort of show you what it's like for someone that knows nothing about healing to go and to do, you know, a reasonable effort. Okay, so let's get started. So, as for macros on my healer, I really don't have much. And basically all I really have is just my clone macros, my focus sort of like party cleanse, and my iron bark macros. Now, I had them there, I was using them, but I've sort of changed my style of targeting now, so we'll go over that in the keybinds. Now, the one thing I do use is this bear form macro, and all it simply does is when I go into bear form, it casts frenzied regeneration, and as you can see, like that. So every time I flick out, just keep going in, blah blah blah. Just so, yeah, a little bit of extra heals as you go into bear form. Anyway, so let's get out of that. Okay. P.S. I really like this transmog. I really do. I don't know why. Anyway. Oh, speaking of which, I want to get I'm going to go for the mount that matches this. So yeah, so stay tuned. It's the Drake. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's go over keybinds. Keybinds. Now this rings basically the same setup for all my tunes. Okay, so let's go into keybinds. Okay, so obviously you can see I just used the W, A, and D for my movement. I've unbound the S key because the S key I use for my bear form. So that way it's just literally there on my hand, so I've got my movement and I can just quickly go into bear form and I don't have to sort of reach, I don't have to look around. It's just right there, especially in, like, you know, those oh shit moments. And for a hunter, you could probably keybind your disengage there too, so that way it's right there on your fingers, or even your deterrence. Now, what else do we have? Let's go back into here. Not interface, but keybindings. Okay, so let's just go to the multi-action bars here. So now I have a Razor Naga mouse, and my main abilities, as you can see on this bottom bar here, I bind to the mouse. Okay, so if we go to the action bar, so you can see number pad all the way up to that, and that's what I have assigned the numbers on my mouse to. Okay, so that way it's all there on my hand. I can just quickly click out, and happy days. So what else have I got here? Nothing really. No, this control F1 and stuff I don't use. Control 1, 2, 3 I don't really use. I only use that for my pet when I have it on my hunter. Let's go to the multi-action bars. Okay, so now you can see that this is end, up, down, That's what happens when you hold shift and click a button. So this is for my top row here. Okay, now I will clean all this up. It's a bit all over the place at the moment, but it sort of makes sense to me. Okay, so when I hold shift, I can use number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on and so forth. Okay, and as you can see down here, mouse button 5 and mouse button 4, I actually have 2 buttons on the top of my mouse. And I click 1 and I click 2, so yeah, you kind of get the idea. Now, F and S. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, F and S. These are the ones that are bound over to here. This is on my next bar. Okay. FS, as you can see, I use the S for my bear form, and F I don't really use on my healer. I use it more so on my hunter for my spirit heals. So as we can go down further now, I use the mouse wheel up and the mouse wheel down for my cat form. And don't forget this Ursula's Vortex I used for an RBG just earlier. But I use it for my cat form, so it's right there when I need to switch in, switch out, you know, especially if I'm about to get polyed, I can just quickly flick the mouse wheel down, go into cat form, and yeah, go from there. What else have we got? And the top, if I flick it up, I usually use Mighty Bash, so that way if I'm on a target, I can just quickly Mighty Bash them by just simply flicking up the mouse wheel. What else have we got here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They're just above the WAD keys, and I just simply use them for, you know, some of my utilities. I use my Moonfire and Wrath. Moonfire mostly because I like to take out Shaman's totems, quickly bang, 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 and do a bit of DPS if I need to. And I put Stampeding Roar on number 2 because it's a good utility to use when I'm just, like, if we need to sort of clear out, if we're in an arena, we need to make progress, if we want to push in, or if I want to clear snares from everybody, I can just quickly go up and it's right there, bang. So as you can see, I try to keep all my keybinds right around my left hand, and all my other keybinds are on my mouse wheel. So it's on my mouse, sorry, and that's everything sort of close together. Now, as you can see, right here, it's just holding control and so on and so forth. So I don't really use anything too crazy, but the main thing I try and do is keep everything close. So that way, the less time you use moving around looking for spells, the better chance you are at winning, like battles and whatnot. So let's go over a couple of other things that I do. Now let's go into, key binding. Now targeting. Okay, this is really important in my opinion for a healer, because firstly, let's just go. Now, when you're in an arena, okay, and you're, you know, healing yourself up, and your, you know, party member, say this good-looking night elf person, whatever, this person here is our healer. Our teammate. Okay, so what you don't want to do is spend time trying to click their action frames, especially if you've got like a druid, like feral, or a rogue jumping around and going crazy, and you want to click on their thing. It makes it really hard. Now, alternatively, I use raid frames. Okay, so, and even so, you don't want to go down and clicking those raid frames. It takes, I know it sounds stupid, but that split second it takes for you to take your eye off the battle could be the difference between a CC going on you, or, you know, things like that. So what I've done, or what I do, sorry, is I go back to keybinds. Now I've keybound my Q and E, okay, to target myself and my party member, and I had that bound to something else, I can't remember what it was, for 3s. But what this does, it allows me now to quickly select myself or my party member, and because Q and E is right next to my WAD keys, I don't have to look anywhere. I can just go quickly, you know, click myself, all right, press Q, that's me, and E is the next person, and I think it was Shift S I used for my party 2. Party 1 and party 2, okay? Because obviously you're targeting yourself. Okay, so that's all well and good for your party. Now, you want to be able to target the enemy players just as easy, because, you know, you're going in for a clone, say you're running God Comp and the mage is just polyed and you've got to target it, you want to sort of CC out of that. And sometimes it gets quite difficult to click on, you know, target frames, or if you're using Gladius EX, you know, clicking on that, taking your eyes off the battle is, in my opinion, pretty rough. So what I do, if we go back into keybinds, so let's go to targeting, down here, I hold shift and I use my mouse wheel. Okay, so target enemy 1, I hold shift, mouse wheel up, shift, mouse wheel down for number 2, and for the third one, shift, push the mouse button, the mouse wheel in. So that's my targeting scheme, and it's quick and easy. Like, you're running around, you're healing yourself up, you know, the enemy healer's on its way over, you just quickly flick up, bam, chuck a clone on him, bash him, whatever you need to do, and it just allows you then to continuously keep the heals and CCs rolling without taking your eye and mind off the game. So when I say off the game, off your, you know, targets and bits and pieces like that. So that way you don't spend time trying to click, you know, unit frames and all this other stuff. And yeah, it just makes life a lot easier. Now, something else that is quite handy, and I've actually had a lot of people ask me what this is. Now, target of target, okay? As a healer, well, most of the times if you're playing in arena, okay, this is probably more, this is more useful for RBGs, okay? And this is true on my hunter, okay? So let's say you're in an arena and you have no communication. So if you're just doing some random, you know, sorry guys, my phone's just going nuts. So let's just say you're doing some randoms and you haven't got any communication, but you want to know who your DPS is on. This is for healers. Okay, so what you want to do now, this is going to be hard to show you because I don't have anyone to target. Let me just see something here. No, it won't do that either. Yeah, okay, so anyway, I'll show you what it is. So you go into interface, right? You go down to combat, and what you want to do is you want to click target of target. Okay, so why this is helpful is because as a healer, you want to know who your DPS is targeting so that you don't, you know, CC the wrong person and stuff like that. Especially if they've decided to make a switch, you know then to, you know, hit the other, you know what I mean, okay? So what happens is, I use the standard unit frames because I've made my UI larger. Now for those people that actually don't know how to do that, is you go into interface, sorry, not interface, you go to system, right? And you have to have your windows in full screen mode. Instead of, I do it windows so I can go between two screens, but you got to go to full screen mode first, and then it will come up with a scale, a UI scale. And then that way you can quickly change the size of your action bars. It makes things bigger, and therefore it makes your unit frames quite large as well. And I like it just simple, you know, nothing special. And what it will do is it'll put a little target of target frame just under your target here. So that way when you've selected your team member, you can see who he's targeting. Just say, who knows, you might have gotten all the cooldowns out of a healer, and you want to make a switch just to burn the healer down, but he hasn't communicated that because you've got no voice. So that way you can quickly see, all right, he switched to the healer, I'm going to go switch and CC out the DPS. What I'm trying to say is you get the idea of what I'm going on about. And that it is also very helpful for RBGs, especially if you're a DPS, like you're on your hunter, and you've got the target, you've got the raid leader there, especially if you're doing like, you know, pug RBGs, like yellow ones that there's no voice, there's no nothing, they're just going around. You can see who the leader is on, quickly click their target and, you know, help them out. I'm not sure. Oh, for the raid frames too, I've had some questions about the raid frames. You see these little raid things when you're in a party in arena. All you need to do to get those up is go to interface, go to raid profiles, right there. Go down to use raid style party frames. So that way it gets rid of the default ones and puts up those rectangles. I like to display the colors classes, the pets, because if you're with a hunter, if the other team is smart, if you're like with a BM hunter especially, they'll take the pet out. And if you don't have that pets up, you won't really be able to see its health. So I like to keep that up. That way I can target the pet and quickly heal them up. Show debuffs, okay, but I only like to show debuffs that are dispellable, okay? That way it'll come up in the little frame, the unit frame there, right? Actually, I'll just quickly, no, never mind. So it'll show up in the little unit frame, only the dispellable ones. That way you don't have all the other crap that's in there, and it just makes a nice visual to see, all right, okay, so the lock has just dotted up my DPS, I'll quickly get behind a pillar, dispel him, and keep going. That way you can always be on top of, like, you know, the debuffs and, you know, anything that's going to really force the heals out of you. Remember guys, this is what I've learnt so far, so if I've said anything wrong or anything like that, just let me know. There's no need for the hate, if you know what I'm saying. Alright, so I think that was everything that everyone wanted to know. What else would there be? Oh, the the add-ons that someone asked me what add-on was that raid frame thing that I just spoke about and what shows the buffs. Exactly what I just said. Anyway, guys, I don't think there's much else I really need to go over. Yeah. So, I really hope you guys have found this helpful. If I did miss anything, or you're interested in whatever else I'm doing, because one thing I have noticed, and what I found very difficult to learn the Resto, was I've found a lot of guides out there. They are really good. Like don't get me wrong, I checked a ton of guides before I actually decided to do anything on my Resto, and I watched a lot of videos of, you know, other Resto druids playing, how they play, what they take, and bits and pieces. But one of the things that I noticed that all the guides don't do is show you how to play a Resto. They show you what to do, like what to take and what to do, and they might show you a quick rotation guide, but they don't really show you in-game action and like, all right, so okay, we've been told to take, you know, Soul of the Forest. Why? Okay, that's what it does, all right? So you put your hots up, you hit Swiftman, you get the Soul of the Forest buff and blah blah blah. But when's a good time to use that Soul of the Forest? When's a good time? Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. So what I might do, once I get a little bit better and I'm a bit more comfortable with what I'm doing, is I might actually do a Resto guide. But like I said, once I've learnt and once I'm comfortable enough to show others, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that'll be coming up in the future. But anyway, if there's anything else you'd like to know, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. It really helps me out, guys. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to bring out many, many more things to come. And yeah, anyway, until next time, you awesome people, I am Ravenclaw, or in this case, Ravenpaw, and keep on sniping, guys. See ya.